no previous exposure to Jam before. We're going to cover off why we're involved in social media. So I think people, especially our local people, will know us as a contact centre. So we want to give you a little bit of a flavour into why we're tipping our toes into the social media space. We're going to cover off the role of customer care, which is really where we're focusing on. So when we talk about social media, quite a lot of people will automatically associate that with marketing and PR. And for us, it's really about improving the customer experience on behalf of our clients. So we're going to talk about how we're using social analytics to improve that customer experience. And we're also going to talk a little bit about how we're doing some engagement on behalf of our clients on social media as a customer experience tool. And we're going to go into some case studies then, so just to give you a little bit of a flavour of some of the brands that we're working with at the moment and how they are implementing social media or using it for their advantage. Okay, so this might be familiar to some of you in the audience, but basically Jam are known as being a multi-channel, multilingual contact centre. Jam were formed in 2000 by a local entrepreneur, Philip Cassidy, who spotted a gap in the market really for handling email contacts. So Jam stands for Global Email Company, and it was initially set up to facilitate emails. And this is one of the reasons why we've got into the social media space. We tend to grow based on the demands of our clients. And based on some of the high profile clients that Jam acquired initially, we started to move into the more, I suppose, the more strategic contact centre space, invested in telephony, hardware, and started handling contacts of all different sorts. And this is really what's led us into the social media space as well, just listening to the demands of our clients and making sure that we're facilitating that. So we've got 1,000 seat capacity and we have 3 different locations. Most people will be aware of our location in the Northbrook Technology Building or the Allstate Building in Lanyon Place. We have another one in quite close proximity in Belfast and one in Hungary in Debrecen. And you can see just from the bottom of the slide here some of the different types of contacts we handle. So we're primarily focused on customer service and technical support, and now moving a little bit further into the likes of software development for some of our key clients and social media. So this gives you just a bit of an overview into the types of contacts that we would handle or where we would focus our energies. I guess it's really key to say that one of our key focuses is on the area of business improvement, and we try to work actively with all of our clients to actually drive their contact volumes down. So we would be focusing a lot on trying to implement self-service techniques for their customers and making sure that we're staying ahead of the curve in terms of technology changes that could help them serve the customer in a more efficient manner. So just to give you an overview of some of the clients, I think all of these clients, or most of these clients, are on some sort of social media journey, either with themselves internally or including us and Jam. And Colin's going to take you through a couple of examples using Play.com and Microsoft and also Channel 4, just to give you an overview of how they're using social media and how we're helping them implement their strategy. Okay. So I'm just going to flick onto a little video here. I'm sorry, there's no easy way to do this. This is a video that was put together a little while ago by the social media team in Jam. And really the reason we're going to show it is just to give you a little bit of a feel for the culture. The guys were really quite keen that they were working on social media and wanted to have something on social media that demonstrated what we do. So this has been compiled by the people internally. We've had no expert help at all. I think Colin, who's going to talk soon, coordinated the whole thing. So I'll let you see it. The sound does get better.
Social media has grown quickly. Today's customer voice is now more visible than ever, thanks to the use of social networking sites, micromedia, blogs, and forums. Jam fuse formal and informal lines of communication in order to keep our clients ahead of the game.
Jam handles over 11 million contacts each year. Over 40% of these contacts are non-voice.
All of our clients are engaging with social media.
For our retail clients, we can now use social media to establish what is being said about us, as well as to us.
the customer sends you a letter of complaint, you get to see it. If they put the complaint on a social network, everybody gets to see it.
Our role must therefore adapt to become one of reputation management.
So how we represent our clients on message boards, we can ensure that their brand is protected and enhanced.
For our media account, we would use social networking sites quite often to predict trends before they happen. We monitor the likes of Twitter, Facebook, newspaper websites and forums for information about campaigns that people are thinking of setting up because they're unhappy with what they're seeing, to see how people are reacting to things, even sometimes before the dramatic show. So for us, it has been a tool to sort of prevent problems before they begin.
Pour nos clients techniques, nous permettons aux clients de répondre à des demandes d'autres clients. Nous modérons ces interactions dans les forums, cela dans 16 langues différentes, du néerlandais à l'ébauche.
In GEM, we like to use a step approach to social media. Step 1 is to listen and grow bigger ears. Step 2 is to add value. Step 3 is to work out if you want to respond. Step 4 is to have a plan. Step 5 is to keep it real. Recent Gartner research has shown that by the end of 2010, more than 60% of companies with an online presence will have some form of community forum that can be used for customer relations. Frighteningly, over 50% of these companies will fail to manage this correctly. Our advice to you is, your customers are on social media, you need to go where your customers are, and we have the expertise to help you do that.
Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of a feel into what the team in GEM are working on behalf of our clients, and for anybody who really liked that video, it is available on YouTube. Okay, so I suppose the most important question, and the reason why we're here tonight, is really to start understanding why social media is becoming such an important part of our business. I suppose there's a number of reasons for this. As I pointed out a few times already, we are very much driven by the demands of our clients. We try to stay ahead of what they need to be doing to maximise their customer experience. But aside from all that, we have the pressures that everybody else has facing customer contact today. So we all know that businesses are losing trustworthiness. People tend to trust peers more than they trust businesses, and they're much more likely to take a peer recommendation than actually listen to traditional advertising. Everybody, especially in the technology sector, will tend to go to a forum before they'll pick up the phone, and we're really trying to adapt to those pressures. I think the other major piece that we're looking at is the fact that everybody is an influencer, so regardless of who you have a touch point with, they are potentially a massive influencer on social media. I think customers' expectations are also changing, and they need to have a value experience now from anybody that they're purchasing from. So for the clients that we work with, it's about reiterating the fact that we have to create value with every contact that we have with a customer. And really that is the new profit. We will start to lose customers if we don't adapt to what their requirements are. And finally, just technology does give customers a sixth sense. We all use technology, we all use the web. We'll check TripAdvisor before we book a hotel, we'll check product recommendations before we purchase the product. And the customers just have access to a whole wealth of information that wouldn't previously have been there. So specifically for us, the area that we're most focused on is the area of customer care. And this is really, I suppose it's been an ever-changing circle for us, or ever-evolving circle. We started out really looking at reputation management for some of our key clients, especially in the retail sector. And what we wanted to really achieve was to understand how people were perceiving their brand. Weren't necessarily taking the time to pick up the phone and talk to them, but we're talking about their brand elsewhere with their friends or on forums. And we started to really try to understand what was driving any behaviours in that change of brand reputation. Aside from that then, we were also able to start picking up on threats. So on a few occasions we were able to pick up on fraudulent activities on behalf of some of our retail clients, just through moderating activity on social networking sites. I suppose more recently we've really started to understand that we're gathering a lot of information from social media sites. And one of the most important things that we can do is actually turn that into tangible and actionable business insights for our clients. So we're now moving into the area of customer analytics and social analytics, where we're using the power of the information we have, both from social and non-social channels, and merging that together to try and get a better understanding of the customer, the end customer, on behalf of our clients. And we'll be able to talk about that in a little bit more detail later. I suppose in terms of the value strategy side of things, so adding additional value to our clients, we are starting to see increasing demand and starting to merge some of the customer service and the marketing activities. So there is a direct correlation quite often between the marketing activity and the customer service activity that then formulates off the back of that. So that's an area that we're looking at closely. And in terms of using social media for customer care, I think what we need to just be specific about is that it's not necessarily directly interacting with the customers. Some of our brands are using this type of information for different purposes. So for product development, just for getting a better understanding of the customer, for promoting self-service opportunities, so implementing forums, and therefore cutting down costs in contact centre or agent types of activities. Okay. So I'm just going to leave you with this. This is really our vision statement. These are reviewed on a regular basis. I spend a lot of my day engaging with key analysts, specifically with Gartner, and benchmarking our services with other key competitors to make sure that we are staying ahead of the curve on behalf of our clients. This is where we are at the moment, and Colin's going to bring this all to life now with some really practical and tangible examples of what we've been able to do with some of our clients.
So next up we have Colin Taggart, who's Lisa's colleague. Colin's been 11 years in outsourced contact centre, experience with Yahoo, BT, Vodafone and Channel 4. Good with or at the forefront of social media strategy creation and delivery. So Colin's going to take this forward now and develop the ideas.
Thank you. You all hear me okay? Yep. So as Lisa said, our approach really takes two different parts, I suppose. Social analytics, so looking at what kind of business intelligence we can gain for our clients using social media, and then moving into customer engagement. So actually, how can we engage with their customers to improve the overall customer experience? So I'm going to try and show examples of both of those. Around the social analytics, I suppose this really came to us from our customer service agent, our customer facing staff initially. What we found, I suppose about 2 years ago or longer, was that people who were speaking to perhaps our retail clients, customers, were coming to us in focus groups and saying, look, this company are getting a hammering on Facebook, they're getting a hammering on this particular forum. We need to be doing something about this, we need to be aware of it. So we needed to go and speak to our clients and say, look, this is something that you really need to be aware of because this could potentially damage your brand. And I suppose, as Lisa said earlier, that a lot of clients were primarily focused on cost reduction, and they sort of thought, well, we don't want to open up another channel, sometimes we don't want to know. So I suppose this kind of concept really helped us explain that to them. And what we said was, look, it's not going to replace the formal channels, it's not going to replace the feedback that we're giving you about what people are saying to us about your brand, but actually it will complement it, and it's about what people are saying about your brand, and those people may not actually be your customers. So, Play.com, for example, are one of our customers. Someone can go onto a forum and say lots of pretty negative things about Play.com. They aren't necessarily a Play.com customer, but they can do untold damage to Play.com because of the amount of people that are looking at that forum. So I suppose this concept really helped with us to get our clients to come along with us. So in doing that, we started off on this journey, I suppose, by starting to look at brand health. And what we said was, okay, look, we're not going to, I think some clients were a bit worried that they weren't ready to take a step and start engaging with customers on Facebook and engaging with customers on Twitter. And what we said was that's maybe something we do down the line, but firstly, we need to start to listen. We need to actually listen to what customers are saying on social media, and we need to baseline it. For example, we need to compare it to what they're saying about your competitors, and we need to say, okay, are you getting a hard time about delivery or customer service, and how does that compare to the kind of you know, the kind of feedback that your direct competitors are getting in that particular area. We then started to look at that and trend it across a timeline for them and say, okay, well, over the past 2 months, here's how you've been performing in terms of delivery, for example, for a retail client, and here's how your direct competitors have been performing, here's the positive feedback that you've had, and here's the negative feedback that they've had. So really, it was about trying to turn that into actionable business insights, I suppose. And then the last bit is act. And actually, act may not be to engage, act may be to fix the problem that's causing the negative feedback. It doesn't necessarily mean to get out there on Twitter and say, oh, you said this thing about us. Actually, that's not strictly true, because that may be the right thing to do, but definitely you need to act on the feedback that was out there. So just to sort of as an illustration of the kind of health check that we would do, and this is a specific example for Play.com. So what we needed to do was to look for the Play.com brand and then associate it with the kind of areas that people may be talking about in positive ways or negative ways, and I suppose start to trend it and start to baseline it and start to look at it against their competitors. So you can see here we're looking at things like stock, delivery, sale. We're looking for people talking about the Twitter ID. And I've put up there call centre with the UK spelling and the American spelling, because it's quite informal, so people sometimes will use different spellings of words. So we needed to try and capture all of that. We did it. There are a lot of these, I suppose they're called listening tools. These I'm sure you're aware of this, but these tools that go out and search across these networks to try and find as much information as possible. I suppose Lisa and I have spent a long time scoping out. We say we were Gartner clients. Gartner have produced what they call a magic quadrant for these listening tools, and there's probably, how many? Put you on the spot.
Quite a lot.
Oh, quite a lot. 20 maybe that they recommend, and we did a big scoping exercise to try and find out who were the best ones. So we were going to put a bit of that into this presentation, and then we thought it was really technical and probably a bit boring, so we didn't. But if you want more information around that, you know, some of the key players are probably people like Radian 6. But if you want some information around that, we can certainly come and speak to us after, and we'll be prepared to go through that with you. But this is the kind of the sort of brand health check that we'd be doing on behalf of one of our clients. And then when we talked about trending, so we started to look at it across a period of time. Okay, I think this was about 90 days or something that we're looking at here. You can see it's a bit complicated, but the blue line there is positive feedback, the red line is negative feedback, and the green line is neutral feedback. But what we found interestingly was that we were able to link it back to what was actually happening in the contact centre. So the two neutral peaks for Play.com, one of them would be when we were doing a game launch, and one of them would be a sale. So it was times when there was a lot of buzz going on and probably a lot of traffic coming into the contact centre, so that was interesting. We then had a positive peak at the time around the sale, so lots of chatter around, you know, player doing this for reduced price, or, you know, check this out, this DVD or this game, whatever it may be. And I suppose the focus for us initially was on the negatives and what were the actual negative spikes. And what we were able to see was, okay, there was a delay on delivery of a game towards launch date, and there was delay on pre-order bonus codes. So gamers, and we have some people from EA in the audience here at the front, they'll know gamers tend to get very upset if they have to wait on anything or if there's any delay. So straight away, they're quite vocal on these kind of forums. So straight away, when there was a delay, that negative feedback started to come through, and there was also some negative feedback around the sale. So that was the kind of trending that we started to do, and this started to have an impact, particularly we're talking about Play.com, with Play.com back in their at board level. I suppose our point of contact within Play is the person responsible for customer service, but actually when we started to provide this information to them and they went back into board, to their board, it started to have an impact and started to help the decision making process there. But I'm going to talk about that a bit later on. Before I do that, I just wanted to sort of take another example of a client where we're using social media completely differently, and that's with Channel 4. So Channel 4, social media within Channel 4 has become a part of the business. When we recruit people into our Channel 4 team now, we look for an awareness of social media. And for Channel 4, I suppose probably a bit of background. Channel 4 have an Ofcom requirement to provide a viewer inquiries team. So they have an Ofcom requirement to provide a point of contact for